In this film, Dede Efendi is at your age. Do you want to be friends with him? Friends, I am Dede Efendi. I am known as the most important composer of classical Turkish music. Would you like to learn more about my life story? I was born in 1778 in Şehzadebaşı, Istanbul. My father is Süleyman Ağa and my mother is Rukiye Hanım. When I was born, they gave me the name Ismail. My father used to run a hammam. That's why I later became known as Hamamızade İsmail Dede Efendi. At the school where I received my primary education, I became the chief hymnist because of my beautiful voice. I was very talented towards music. I started taking private lessons from Uncuzade Mehmet Emin Efendi, the famous music expert of the period. I attended Mehmet Efendi's lessons for 7 years after primary school. Meanwhile, I was working to contribute to my family's living. In these years, I started Yeni Kapı Mevlevihanesi in order to receive a higher musical education. After a while, I fulfilled my duties as a requirement of Mevlevi and gained the title of Dede. By the way, I learned how to blow the ney from Abdülbaki Nasır Dede. By the way, a song I composed aroused great curiosity about me in the music circles of Istanbul. My fame was also heard in the palace. Sultan Selim III, who was also a composer, invited me to the palace and listened to my song. He liked me so much, he wanted to include me among the palace singers. I was singing in the presence of the Sultan twice a week. Other days were spent in the Mevlevihane. Lots of people were coming here to listen to me. I married Nazlıfer Hanım, whom I met at the palace in 1802. Then I left the dergah. I moved into a house near the palace as a tenant. In 1908, the Sultan Selim III's sultanate ended, so my duty in the palace was over. After Sultan Mahmud II resolved the political turmoil in the palace, I was taken back to the palace. This period was the brightest and most productive period of my artistic life. Between 1824 and 1839, I composed 7 Mevlevi rites. Ferah Feza, my 7th and last rite, which I composed upon the order of Mahmud II in 1839, is my most famous work. We were going to sing this rite in Beşiktaş Mevlevihanesi. Sultan Mahmud, who came to listen to the rite, was sick that day. However, after listening to me, he praised me by saying, "I am glad I came. I'm almost healed." I kept my place in the palace during the reign of Sultan Abdülmecid. However, with the Abdülmecid ascension to the throne, the atmosphere in the palace also changed in terms of music. Abdülmecid gave importance to Western culture and loved Western music. However, I was attached to classical Turkish music. During this period, my composing life entered a recession. I wasn't going to the palace unless it was an invitation. Although Sultan Abdülmecid was more interested in different types of music, he loved me very much and respected me. He greeted me nicely when I went to the palace. We were having a nice conversation. I learned that there was an empty mansion near the Blue Mosque. I wanted to buy this mansion, but Abdülmecid gifted me this mansion fully furnished. After that day, I spent most of my life in this mansion. I gave music lessons to talented young people here. I invited my friends here. I grew up in one of the most depressed periods in Ottoman history. This was a time when traditions and innovations movements clashed. My music was also affected by it. Because I was brought up according to Mevlevi traditions, I was a palaceman. In those years, I was not only interested in palace and Mevlevi music, but also composed for the people of Istanbul. I composed songs and folk songs for the entertainment of the people of Istanbul. Do you know, guys, in the period I lived, the use of notes in music was not common. Music education was based on rote learning. I have composed nearly 500 compositions throughout my artistic life. However, only half of them are known. During my lifetime, other composers did not attach importance to raising students, but this was the subject I cared about the most. In this way, I transferred the works that I've memorized to my students. They also passed it on to their students. Here is my musical adventure, which started in Melevihane and continued in the Ottoman Palace. Dear children, I have been passionate about music all my life. I recommend you to get a musical instrument and to deal with music. You will find that it is very enjoyable. If you work hard, you can achieve great success.